So today's mailbag question comes to us from Whitney. And Whitney says, I'm recently divorced and have just received money in a QDRO, QDRO for short, or the alphabet version of that, I guess. Although quadro is kind of easier and shorter to say.
Qualified domestic relation order, to be specific.
Thank you. I was going to ask what in the world that actually even meant. So yes, we're going to learn something on this one. All right. So just received a quadro as part of the settlement. What are my options for what I can do with this money? So what's a quadro? And then what's the answer to Whitney's question?
Quadro is a qualified domestic relation order. Quadros, Whitney, I apologize. I'm sorry about your divorce. Let's start off with that. Right?
Yes, yeah.
So a quadro is a way that you can transfer assets from a divorced spouse to another one and avoid taxes on doing that. So anytime money comes out of a 401k or an IRA, being a tax-deferred vehicle, those funds are taxable unless you have a quadro that is established by your divorce attorney.
I see. Okay.
So here's where people really get into, they make mistakes with this. And I think it's due to the fact that maybe there's just some misinformation out there. Maybe it's people trying to make some money off of these poor people that are already going through a tough situation. They're going through a divorce.
Oh, it's an emotional time.
Exactly.
You always make mistakes when you're emotional about something.
Unfortunately, I just think that, there's some people out there that recognize that and they think everybody needs a quadro. Okay. Here's a little known secret. You do not need a quadro to transfer an IRA in a divorce.
Okay.
Yeah, it can just be a spousal, and I'm not sure the exact terminology, but from an ex-spouse to an ex-spouse, that can transfer over. You don't need to go through the complex quadro process. You need a quadro process for a 401k and only a 401k.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So we don't know in Whitney's situation whether this was a needed
she did
quadro.
Not specify on that.
Yeah.
So Whitney, if you have an IRA, do not worry about a quadro. Speak to your legal professional about that, and I can help you get some information on that. If you do have a 401k, quadro is a very simple process, should not be that complicated, but that will avoid the taxes on that. And when it comes to investing, honestly, you have the same investments that the IRA or 401k is currently invested in. You have the same options when you move that over. So you just want to make sure that your risk tolerance is set for what your objectives are. Make sure that if you're retiring sooner or later than your former spouse, that you just adjust that risk and make sure that everything's set up for you. Because, what I find in my office is the men are a little more aggressive, than the females. So you may want to adjust that risk a little bit. So,
well, honestly, the thing that jumps out to me about this question too, Whitney, is, you've probably planned for your financial future with your husband,
with the spouse,
and now you don't have that anymore, and so you really probably would benefit from just starting all over with a financial plan. And
absolutely,
you got to start with a whole new mindset and fresh. And so, what are your options for what you can do with this money? That part of the question to me is ringing really true. That we got to put this in context of the rest of your financial picture.
Yeah, it's probably good to get a fresh start on this and a fresh look. I would agree that brings up a good point. Just to, because when you're commingling the family expenses and assets, and now you're out on your own, your lifestyle, your objectives, everything may change. So it's probably good just to get your head around that and just take a step back and get a fresh start.
Your age is going to impact that dramatically, how close to retirement you are, all those kinds of things.
Right.
So anybody going through that major life change, like a divorce or a spouse passes away, maybe unexpectedly, all those kinds of things, really, if you don't already have an advisor and a plan in place, should be good little triggers to go out and get one and get that help.
Yeah. So. Another timely question. We've actually had 3 of these cases come in our office in the last 30 days. Yeah.
I hate that these kinds of things are more frequent, but it is the way of the world right now.
But we're here to help. So,
yeah. Well, if you're going through something like that and need some assistance, meet with Frank Oliver and the great team at Oliver Asset Management. A couple of ways you can get in touch. You can schedule a free strategy session online by going to oliverassetmanagement.com. You'll find a place right there where you can book that session. You can also call 720-897-TIME if you have any questions as well. 720-897-8463. Frank, good episode today. Thanks for all your help. And
thank you, Walter.
We'll chat again in a few weeks.
Yeah, good talking to you.
All right, we'll see everybody next time right back here on the Time Blueprint.
Thank you very much.